quick explanation of the format. This is a moderated debate. I would ask that you hold applause, Rotten Tomatoes, everything else till the end of the debate. Feel free to yell at me afterwards if I didn't ask the question on your behalf, but it is fully moderated. And I've talked with the candidates beforehand, and Al Phillips will be answering the first question first. Each question will have an approximate 2-minute time. If there's any difference in time, I'll let the candidates know. Robert Marks, who's one of our members, will be keeping time. So he has 2 colored pieces of paper, and he's promised me he isn't colorblind. So he's going to be giving a warning at 30 seconds and then at 15 seconds when it's about time to wrap up. And if people go long, he has the bell to start ringing it or throwing it at people. All right, so getting this started, Mr. Phillips. So as an introduction, what traits or characteristics do you feel that a state assembly member should possess, and what in your background makes you suitable for the position?
So, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourself. Each of you should not look to your own interest, but also the interest of others. That's what I feel an assembly person should do. They should not look out for the interest of themselves. They should look to the interest of others. Joan Buchanan will tell you that over the last 18 years, or she had an opportunity to serve on the school board for 18 years. During that time, she's made an allegiance with the teachers union that has allowed her to stay focused on issues not only that supported the teachers union, but also went against children. This was explained by the Democrat mayor, Antonio Villagrosa of LA, when he said this was in regards to a vote on SB 1530. Today's cynical political calculation won and our children lost. The Assembly Committee on Education, where Joan sits, voted to kill SB 1530. Decision is part of a larger disturbing pattern of disregard for the safety, well-being, educational needs of our state's most valuable residents, our young children. The LA Times said that her vote was sickening, and CNN, Cooper Anderson, revealed that after this vote, she received over $25,000 in campaign contributions directly after that vote. Now, again, what you should do is not out of self-ambition. When Joan ran for office, the first thing she did was she ran for Ellen Tauscher's seat right afterwards. She didn't care about the constituents in her neighborhood. She went right after the next seat. That's self-ambition. I don't have the luxury that Joan has to have all the financial backing from all the different special interest groups. But what I have done is I've raised money out of the campaign to get me to a point to where I'm here today before you folks. So thank you.
Thank you. I would be happy to answer the question on 1530 later, but I want to take this time to tell you, a little bit about who I am, and also just thank you for giving me the privilege to represent you in the Assembly District. My passion continues to be public education, because I don't think there's anything we do that's more important than prepare our children to be the workers, the innovators, the leaders of future generations, and we have a great deal of work to do, particularly in today's tough economic times where education's been cut over 22%. My talent, as I told you 2 years ago, is finance. For those of you who have been to my town halls or my pancake breakfast, you know that I have a very in-depth understanding of the state's budget, and I believe if we don't manage our money well, we can't afford the programs that we value. I've been the go-to person in the legislature for information technology and authored a number of bills this year to streamline the procurement process and actually transfer responsibility over to the California Technology Agency from the very large Department of Government Services. I authored a bill a year ago, AB 900, that streamlines the permitting process for large development projects, and as a result of that, Apple Computer is taking advantage of the bill and will be able to put shovels in the ground sooner to build its new headquarters. Some of the most rewarding work for me, though, has been working with local constituents, helping them with their problems, and also working with local businesses. So, is that green or red? Sorry. That's okay. It was, such a pleasure when the World War II veterans came up to me and thanked me for working with Dave Mount Diablo so we could put the beacon up on restore the beacon up on the top of the hill this year. So I look forward to the rest of the debate, and I'm happy to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you both. Next question is to Ms. Buchanan. When considering a piece of legislation, what underlying principles govern, or in Mr. Phillips' case, will govern your decision on how to vote on it?
I think the real two underlying questions: is it good policy, and is it good for our district? And I have a reputation of being one of the lawmakers in Sacramento that reads the analysis for every single bill. For bills that are more complex, I actually go and read the text of the bill themselves, and that's for every single bill that comes to me for a vote in committee or that comes to me for a vote on the floor, because I believe if you give me your trust, I have a responsibility to do that work. SB 1530, to which my opponent referred, I will tell you that I was the Girl Scout, the Brownie leader, the Girl Scout organizer. I was on the board of the Child Care Alliance. I was a soccer coach for 15 years. I served on our school board for 18 years. I not only read the analysis of that bill, I read the bill, the language twice. I read the ed code that referred to it. If there were parts of ed code that referred to, I read that. And if that bill would have done anything to provide additional protections for our students or make it easier to dismiss teachers who committed these egregious acts, I not only would have voted for it, but I would have signed on as a co-author. Unfortunately, what you read in the paper does not describe at all what the bill did, and I will be working this year to come up with new procedures for evaluation and for discipline dismissal that work.
Mr. Phillips?
Okay. What would govern my policy, how I would, can you rephrase it?
Sure. It's when you're considering a piece of legislation, what underlying principles will govern your decision on how to vote on it?
My principles would be how it affects the community at large. How it affects the children, the teachers, the people that can't fend for themselves. How it will affect them. My principles are fairly simple. I get up every day, I go to work, and I pay my fair share, and I do what I'm supposed to do in my life. I expect that people, when a law gets submitted, they should review the law, they should study it, and they should see how it affects them in their life. SB 1530, again, was an example of when Joan had read that. All of the other school districts in the state, newspapers throughout the state, all were in favor of it because it protected children. If there was a piece of legislation that came along that protected children, I would sign on to it. Thank you.